Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Dark Powerrr, where we talk about, well, everything that happens on AEW Dark and MLW Fusion. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. We appreciate you as always. Remember to hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to get straight into things because this was actually a pretty good combination, pretty good pairing of episodes. So on Dark, there were a couple things that kind of stood out to me. First of which was the Jurassic Express tag team matchup against Aaron Solo and Lee Johnson. Solo taking the pin. As to be expected, Lee Johnson is now a signed, contracted talent on AEW, so I'm expecting him to be protected in this as he has been in the past. This was a pretty good match. I liked the overall tag team aspects of it. They're kind of getting ready for Jungle Boy to do bigger things, and they are building towards that feud with FTR. We know that he is going to be facing a member of FTR. I forget if it's Dax or Cash. I think it's Cash on Dynamite. So this is a good tag win for Jurassic Express. Speaking of tag wins, another great match that stood out to me was the SCU TNT match. This was actually really good. It was, I would want to say it's my match of the night for AEW Dark, but it's very close, if not the match of the night. The Hughes brothers, Devon Dudley's kids, very good in the ring, and SCU, I mean, what can be said about SCU and the combined history of Kazarian and Christopher Daniels? They are two really solid hands in the ring, and they are up against guys who are making a name for themselves, guys who are starting to, I don't want to say come out from underneath the shadow of their father, because their father casts a very large shadow, let's be honest, but they are doing a really good job of showcasing their talents, and this was a great example of that. SCU picking up the win because we know that SCU is on this roll. They're on this kind of Cinderella run where their next loss is going to be the end of them as a team, and we kind of know that that's not going to be happening on an episode of Dark against Devon's kids. Let's be honest. The next match that stood out to me, and I thought was kind of the other contender for match of the night, is Rey Fenix up against Baron Black. I wasn't expecting this match to be as good as it was, just because while I know how good Rey Fenix is in the ring, I don't think that highly necessarily of Baron Black, but this is a match that kind of took those expectations and turned them on their head. This was a really good action-packed match, and I really enjoyed this one. This is one of the ones that you want to look forward to or make sure that you watch. They are building momentum behind Phoenix for the match at Beach Break, where he will be teaming with Pac and teaming with Jon Moxley against Kenny and the Good Brothers. Looking forward to that match, and this is just a teaser of what is going to be happening. I'm now looking forward to seeing I forget what the name of the move is called, but where he does like the spin over the top rope, that kind of not suicide dive, but top. Yeah, I don't know the name of the move off the top of my head. No pun intended. But I kind of want to just see him hit that on Gallows now. That's something that I'm looking forward to, and I hope that they do during the match. Next thing that stood out to me was the Inner Circle here with Ortiz and Santana. Not just because of how they made super short work of Mike Verna and Ryzen, but how earlier in the evening they had cut a promo about how everybody is now being warned. They are putting everyone on notice, and they are coming for what they believe is theirs and their top spot. We saw them lose to the other members of the Inner Circle in Jericho and MJF, so we know that they are not supposed to be the premier tag team of the Inner Circle, but we know that that is kind of the start of something bigger, in a sense, for Santana and Ortiz, and that's kind of what we're looking forward to. Now, the rest of the card is kind of here or there, but the next two matches actually are the standout moments, because here we have Ty Conti with Anna Jay facing off against Davian. She picks up the win. The match itself isn't what is important. It's that she comes out with -1. And then the next match after this is Preston Vance 10 versus Ray Jazz, and it's a 5-minute match, but we have -1 on commentary. And this, I mean, they got to let his voice deepen a little bit. But this kid really is. I mean, I've said it before when he cut promos on Dark, but he really is a natural on the mic. It's incredible. And just if you watch anything from AEW Dark, watch the Jurassic Express match, the SCU match, the Rey Fenix match, and then watch the kind of the back half where Ty Conti and Ten are on Dark simply for -1. He is hilarious on commentary, and they have kind of a moment where Ray Jazz is getting beaten up on 10, and you kind of know that they're going to have the turnaround, but when they do have the turnaround, he has this amazing just line when Preston Vance hits 2 back-to-back heavy clotheslines on Ray Jazz, and he just goes, this is what hell feels like for Ray Jazz. And Taz almost loses it laughing just because of how good the line is and just off the cuff. You know, you're not expecting that from like an 8-year-old. So that is something that really stands out, right? When you see somebody with that level of talent, my God, and the ability, you know, he's the leader of the Dark Order. He's keeping them all in line, keeping them all in check. So that's a very, you know, his halftime speeches, so to speak, must be really good. His pep talks before matches, because Dark Order has been on a pretty clear winning streak very recently. But guys, we have to turn to MLW Fusion. MLW Fusion had some pretty good moments during this episode. We saw TJP from Impact Wrestling on MLW Fusion. We had 3 matches here. We had Laredo Kid defending the AAA Cruiserweight Championship up against Zenshi. Athletic match. Nothing really stood out to me that much about it. It just seemed to me like a regular luchador kind of match. There wasn't anything that kind of upped the ante to me, and there wasn't any kind of story in that sense for this match. It just was a title match. So, all right, okay, we'll take it for what it is. Next, we had a #1 contendership match between Bukudao and TJP versus Violence is Forever of Tom Lawler's Filthy team, and Bukudao and TJP pull out a strong win. This was a pretty good match, I thought, for a tag team, for what they are kind of doing and they're showing. And now we're gonna see Bukudao and TJP versus Los Parks, and we had some promos cut in between here with Los Parks saying, you know, whoever wins, we'll take him down. hopefully with more style and speed than they did the last time against the Von Erichs when they took the championships. We had some other promos here where a Contra unit is, you know, getting a little ticked off at Injustice for everything that Injustice has done, and we're seeing that story continue to build. Whereas last week was heavy on Contra unit, this week is heavier on promos, and we're not seeing Contra unit, we're not seeing Injustice, and their presence is more heard than seen or felt in that sense. But strong work in continuing to build this story, where now from levels of physicality we are taking it away to no physicality and having them talk. So now the next time they get their hands on each other, it's going to feel that much bigger, that much more important. So good to go kind of from one end all the way to the other end. Now let's see how they bring it back to some kind of middle of the road. And we had a really good promo with the Von Erichs out on their island, cutting down wood and just chopping trees, and more the sense of, you get that babyface sense from them of we were at the top of the mountain, we were unfairly cheated out of our position on the mountain. How do we get that position back? That's what we're gonna do. And now in our main event, we had Richard Holliday defeating Savio Vega in a strap match in order to win the IWA Caribbean Heavyweight Championship title. This was an interesting match to me. I felt as though, I don't know, I guess we were spoiled very recently with the late great Brody Lee's final match being that dog collar match, which is, I mean, a variant of a strap match. But after seeing that level of physicality, of brutality from Cody and from Brody Lee. Seeing this was kind of a bit of a letdown. Now, I get it. Savio Vega is a little bit more restricted in the ring these days than Brody Lee and Richard Holliday, than Brody Lee or Cody. And Richard Holliday is doing his best to try to kind of keep up with what should be happening or what the expectations are. So I don't want to come across as though I'm just downplaying the match in that sense, but you just kind of had that feeling that they were supposed to hit another gear. They were supposed to go somewhere with this, and they just kind of didn't. But in a sense, it was a way to start things off really than end things. Whereas the dog collar match was kind of an ending to the story with Brody and Cody. This kind of seems more of a beginning. So I'm willing to give them that runway. I'm willing to give them that sense of, let's see where it goes. Let's see how you build out of this, right? That's something that we want to see now. And if this was a one-off in that sense of we're not going to get a rematch, then I don't know how I feel about that. But it feels as though we are going to, because there was some kind of ref shenanigans towards the ending of that match as to how Holliday won. And the ending of the show is Holliday kind of celebrating with the ref backstage and Alicia Atout, and then Savio Vega coming in there and saying, no, you cheated, you did something you were not supposed to do, and chasing them kind of out of the building. So the only thing I didn't like about the ending, because a heel cheating to win is fine, especially if the heel is built to cheat to win. Like when Miz cheats to win or MJF cheats to win, that's how it's supposed to be done. They are the smarmy, cocky, not necessarily chicken shit, but like they are the smarmy, cocky, win by any means. I am 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 steps ahead of my opponent. Let me show you how. So that part of it I'm not necessarily that upset about. It's more or I'm not upset is a strong word, or concerned about. It's more so the fact that now in almost back-to-back weeks, we have had championship matches end with shenanigans that involve referees. Before, with the Von Erichs and Los Parks, it was clear that Lawler was not going to be calling things down the middle. We kind of had a feeling that the Von Erichs were going to get screwed, and that's okay, that's fine. But here, there was really no reason to kind of suspect that, and we'll have to see what exactly is going on with this referee and whether or not Holliday paid him off in coffee beans, who knows. But I don't know, something about it just kind of felt a little wrong, and I feel as though they could have, if they wanted to have Holliday cheat to win, there could have been a different way to do it. I don't know, something about that just feels kind of weird to me. Maybe maybe something to the effect of Holliday is trying to get to that final turnbuckle. Savio's pulling on the strap, and Holliday kind of pulls, releases the strap and is able to hit the turnbuckle, and the ref doesn't see it, and it's something to the effect of like, no, my momentum just pulled me out of it, or some other way of doing it than just kind of seemingly back-to-back issues with refs. It just kind of seems as though MLW itself can't control what's going on. But then again, maybe that's also going to be part of the larger storyline when it comes to the new owners of Selena de Renta's faction and the kind of war that they're doing between the Lucha Underground and MLW. Maybe part of the Lucha Underground argument or fight is going to involve crooked refs or involve some kind of situation, or MLW is unable to keep tabs on its refs, and because of that, other people are able to take advantage. That might be a situation that we see happen. So I'll keep an open mind, because these are my first couple weeks with MLW and seeing how they book things, how they tell the stories. Let's see how they do things and see how they build things out. That's something we always want to see with wrestling shows, is how they tell stories within an episode, week to week, month to month, pay-per-view to pay-per-view. So guys, I appreciate your time as always. Remember to hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate all of you. The march to 1,000 subscribers continues onwards. We were at 966 last I looked. we're trying to get there, guys. So any support that we can get from you, we appreciate, and we appreciate everything you guys do when it comes to sharing your opinions of this just crazy, fun, interesting, incredible world of wrestling that we all are a part of. So until next time, guys, thank you for tuning in. Take care of yourselves.